here this evening. The Dukes with a 19-8 lead. They had put up the last 2 points that Hazel hit there at the free throw line. There's also the JMU men's basketball program playing tonight. The Dukes at Old Dominion. Julian Wooden off to a very Wooden-like start. 8 points early on. The Dukes have a 19-11 lead.
Well, you can light it up, man. That one night here was that, I can't remember which game that was. Whew.
They had
Behind the three, yeah.
31 points
a
couple of games ago. Louisiana Monroe.
Yeah, that's it. Fun to watch.
A week ago last night.
The Dukes shot 57% in the first quarter, and Marshall just at 18, so that's really the biggest difference in the scoring column. That's
another good-looking shot, but it rolls in and out again for the Thundering Herd. Now 3 out of 18 from the field, 2 of 13 from beyond the arc. Dukes break the pressure. Over to Miller.
I'm sorry, Kurt. I was just going to say, it looks like they're getting a little more comfortable beating that press.
Beeman on the floor comes up with a takeaway.
I spoke too soon.
That was the 8th turnover for the Dukes. Another offensive opportunity for the Thundering Herd. Herd is not necessarily big in stature, but they are scrappy to get basketballs, even off the glass. As Hayes launches another. This time it is Miller with the rebound.
Oh, yeah. How about a 5'4" guard being the top rebounder? That's just incredible. Just will and resilience.
Kozlova has 8 for the Dukes. These teams met 3 times last year. Each team won on the opposite team's court. So the Thundering Herd sent the JMU faithful away disappointed, as that's a nice finish at the rim for Redmond and a nice assist as well. The Dukes won in Huntington, and then the Dukes won again not too long after. It was a week between games in the Sun Belt tournament, knocking off the Thundering Herd.
In the quarterfinals, to make it to the semis.
Dukes went on to win the championship, and just tossing it up is Kozlova. She can hit that shot, just a little shy that time.
That's her first miss of the night. She's 4 for 5.
Three-pointer left wing, a little flat, and getting a hand on it initially, Oderkirk, but corralling it is Campbell. Brianna coming to Marshall from Linville State along with Caldwell. Three-pointer good for Beeman. That's her first bucket of the night. The National Player of the Week coming off a 22-point effort against Coastal Carolina. Miller all the way. Lost the handle, and I think that put her off the mark. Oderkirk steps. With a little hop.
Hop, skip, and a jump. It's not a triple jump, right?
Looked like she just went. She had her feet planted and just jumped over. I don't know if that was necessarily a travel.
I'm not always looking down at their feet either. I didn't see it either, but they do call that a lot.
You can take 3 steps, right?
That's right.
That's 2.
I'm with you.
Hayes drops it on down below. There have been a lot of balls scrapping for on the floor here this evening.
Stay out of the corners, ladies.
Out of the corners and off the sidelines as best you can. And it's like there's 8 defenders out there when Marshall, and look at the hands that knocks the ball away from Hazel. We talk a lot, Missy, about offensive spacing, but I think Marshall does an excellent job of defensive spacing. Campbell comes up with a bucket. She's up to 7.
They sure do. They play the full court, no doubt.
Now a 6-point game. You know, Missy, you said that you thought the Dukes might be handling things, settling down just a bit. I think that's actually a danger sign. Just as soon as you feel comfortable, boom,
right.
Marshall's going to hit you.
Just when you thought it was safe to get back in the water.
That's right. Marshall on a 7-0 run, matching James Madison's early 7-0 run.
Yeah, and Marshall started to hit a few shots here in the second quarter.
JMU without a bucket, not any points for 2.5 minutes now. The kick out left wing, just hanging out over there.
CeCe Mays, that was a good look from her, but a little off the mark.
Hayes, a sophomore from Tampa, Florida. playing her 19th game. Oderkirk, no. And that's a rebounding foul against Marshall's Campbell.
That sort of looked like it was awkward for Kozlova going over the back, but actually she did have position.
The Dukes are going to sub in McDaniel and Goodman. The Herd will bring Redmond back in, among others.
Beeman
comes out to Oderkirk. Bristow back on the court for JMU. Sterling being hawked by Mays. And the second tray for double on Peyton McDaniel. 150 career three-pointers for McDaniel.
A beautiful shot. It was right in front of us, and you could tell that was going right in.
Beeman, little fancy footwork to find an open player. And just goes right in and says, hey, I'll take that off the bottom of the cherry tree. Swing out right side. Here comes Beeman.
Wow, that's why she's the leading rebounder for this team. She just has great court sense.
Exactly. Some players just have a keen awareness about where the ball is going to end up. Shot clock at 5, thrown up, and that is out off the end line. Marshall saying the ball was tapped. We'll find out. We've got some time to look over it as we're at a media timeout. 4:46 to go. First half of action, second quarter. JMU out by 9 over the Marshall Thundering Herd. This
years with best-in-class office productivity solutions from Konica Minolta, HP, Xerox, and Lexmark. Virginia Business Systems provides fast-forward office technology that saves time and money. Call or visit our website today and see how VBS can help your company grow through superior technology and service.
JMU with a 24-15 lead. Midway through the second quarter, we talked a little bit about Abby Beeman. Let's find out more on this young lady with Savannah.
Abby Beeman joined Marshall in 2022 after transferring from D2 Shepherd University. Coincidentally, her last game at Shepherd was a loss to Glenville State in the NCAA D2 Women's Basketball Regional. That Glenville State team was coached by none other than Kim Caldwell. Following that game, Coach Caldwell told Beeman she was one of the most incredible basketball players she had ever seen. When Beeman decided to transfer after the season, Coach Caldwell and Glenville State gave her their best sales pitch, but as we know, Beeman chose Marshall. 1 year later, with Caldwell becoming the Thundering Herd head coach, she likes to joke with Beeman that she, in fact, followed Abby to Marshall.
That's a pretty good story.
That's a great story.
You know, it's interesting, too. Let's tie this together a little bit. Beeman, as you mentioned, 5'4", so, you know, a mighty might, we'll say, and Coach Caldwell, she likes those, and it's interesting. So her dad, her father, Scott, who is a basketball name in West Virginia, although he passed away a couple of years ago, unfortunately. He was 6'10". Her sisters, who played for Cincinnati, are 6'5" and 6'4", and Kim says, I'm the short one at 5'11" in the group, so she has an affinity for smaller players.
Oh, it's kind of like the Oderkirk family. Mom is real tall, and Steph is what, 6 foot, 6'1"? Oderkirk.
Steph is up there. She is at 6'1", yep. And we just saw one of the Dukes bigs, Goodman, score for the Dukes. Makes it back to an 11-point lead. Beeman eyes it from way downtown. No good, and a rebound by Bristow in a crowd. And they just keep the arms and hands up and flying. And there's the three-pointer from Peyton McDaniel.
How about that? Peyton McDaniel said, why not? Feeling it. 2 for 2 from behind the arc for Peyton. 3 for 3. I missed that last one. 3 for 3. She didn't miss it, but I did.
All bounds, out of bounds. That'll stay in possession of the Herd. Hazel comes back in for James Madison. Sydney Scott, 5'8" sophomore from Prospect Park, Pennsylvania, went to Cardinal O'Hare. Again, her mom played for Coach Sheila Mormon here at James Madison over at the JMU Convocation Center.
Coach Mormon said she was an incredible defender and just an incredible athlete, and unfortunately just was riddled with some injury that made her career end sooner than she would have wanted it to.
And that's a foul on Goodman. That is her first, as rolling to the bucket. The Herd gets the basket. And so Aislinn, who likes to be called Ace, gets the bucket. And she goes to the line where she is a 49% free throw shooter. Comes from a household of basketball players. Her sister Alasia also on this team. And Ace actually crossed paths with Kozlova. They were on the same team against Middle Tennessee State. And the Dukes can't get it across half court.
And how nice is it to play with your sister?
Laying it up and in by Campbell.
I played with two sisters. That was pretty cool.
The Buds?
The Buds. They were twins, too, so they did everything together.
Yeah, these Hayes sisters are not twins. And they have an older sister who was Conference USA Player of the Year.
Nice take by Hazel, looking like she's getting in her groove a little bit.
Hazel's had a couple of Hazel-like off days as a three-pointer rifled in.
All right, Campbell's lighting it up just like she did against Old Dominion.
She's up to a dozen points.
Team's leading scorer and the game's leading scorer.
2:22 to go in the first half. Tell you what, oxygen may be required at the intermission.
I'm telling you, that bench is just constantly moving.
The inbounds comes to Campbell. Look here, Beeman. Calling on her. They switch out front. Keep Hazel on Beeman if they can, it looks like. Campbell against Mullins. And a reach around from Mullins on the foul. That is the first against Olivia. A junior from Somerset, New Jersey. First year with the Dukes after transferring from St. Joe's. Last three games for Mullins averaged 10 1/3 points, 7 rebounds total, and was shooting 50% in those ball games. And an inbounds, it ends up in the hands of Jack Hale.
Good catch, Jack.
Coach Hale can still catch him. Former football, baseball coach at nearby Harrisonburg High School. And in his retirement has worked with several other gentlemen across the way over the years. We get a hold against one of the Dukes.
I believe that was on Jamia Hazel. It was. That's her first.
And the team's third. Inbounds to Redmond. Redmond just hanging out in the paint. Kick right back out. Around the corner it goes. Comes out flat. Kozlova.
Get rid of the ball, Susha. Don't hold on to it.
Hazel gets it across the timeline. Down low. And the double pump. The bucket and a blocking foul. Count it for 2. Carol Miller scoring for James Madison.
Nice take by Miller. She and Susha Kozlova sort of got tied up down there, but it worked out for the Dukes. Here's another look at Carol Miller. Yeah, nice take. Block on Campbell. Her first.
So Miller at the line comes up a little shy. That's actually Campbell's second personal foul.
Oh, her scoreboard's wrong.
That's, I tell you, it's just
it's
a scramble, yes. There can be a little bit of delay from what we see and what is registered, Missy. And it's easy in a game like this to get a little bit behind when you can't get the ball down the court. It affects a lot of folks. This is Hayes. Ace. Beeman. That is her range. Beeman will drive. Floater. Man, I tell you what, they're getting some shots in the rim. The cylinder is just not kind to Marshall here at the Atlantic Union Bank Center. Jump ball. Possession arrow will favor JMU.
Yeah, just 9 of 34 for Marshall, 26%.
I mean, maybe if they were playing at the Cam Henderson Center.
But they don't like to lose there, you know.
They don't.
All 5 of their losses this year have been on the road. Or I should say, was it 5 or 7?
5. 6 and 5 on the road, 7 and 0 at home.
All 5 of those were on the road.
So as I was saying that if they were shooting on the home rims, some of those might have tumbled on down.
Marshall had a real nice crowd at that last Old Dominion game. Over 2,000 people. I was watching their numbers, and they're drawing some fans, and they deserve it.
That's great that they are. It's good for everybody. Carol Miller, 4 points. Marshall now 4 for 25. Make that 5 for 26 from beyond the arc.
And that's Hayes with her first. Oh, nice denial D. Beautiful. By CeCe Mays.
Campbell kicks out Hayes, and that was partially deflected. Barnes got a piece of it. Another 3. Dropped in. No hesitation. Scott has her second tray.
Quick release. A lot like Peyton McDaniel. I think everyone on this Marshall team has a quick release.
Now they say, you know, the trigger is right there. You just got to let it fire away, and that's what the Herd likes to do. 35-28, waiting seconds here as Mullins will get to the free throw line at the end of the period, just the same as Hazel did at the end of the first.
Miller's going to check out. Dropped a couple buckets, and Bristow checking back in for the Dukes.
CeCe Mays called for the foul. That is her number 1. And number 1 for the Dukes, Mullins, will go to the free throw line. She was 6 for 8 at the stripe against Old Dominion here Saturday in the Dukes' victory over the Monarchs. That was a 72-64 win, the 9th straight victory for the Dukes in that series. That extends the longest winning streak in that series for JMU. Mullins hits.
Mullins has been shooting well from the line all year. 83. Sorry, 88% free throw shooting.
Makes her 18 out of 20.
She's still in the 80s even with that miss.
She's at 90. And a foul at the end.